Hi, I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are. So I just wanted to come and talk to you about something that I've been really focusing on recently, which is how I make a decision about something that's right versus something that's wrong for me. And we all have that voice of fear in our minds, the one that tells us we're not good enough, not smart enough, not pretty enough. Who are we to want that? Who are we to go after that? Who are we to be amazing? And then we also have that voice of truth within us, which is something that we can refer to as, following our heart or listening to our gut feeling or our intuition or whatever it is you want to refer it to. So we have this voice of truth within us, things we know to be true, versus just that crappy voice that we all have that tells us that we're not good enough, not smart enough, etc. When that voice of truth or our gut feeling is really clear, it can be really easy to make decisions, but sometimes we're faced with decisions where both options feel really clouded and it all kind of feels a bit scary and it all feels overwhelming and you don't really know which way to go or what to do. You don't know what feels true, what doesn't feel true, and it can just be a bit of a mess. So something that I'm doing at the moment to make those decisions easier or make those times in life easier and to make it more apparent as to what something that is true versus something that is not true for me is I'm really tuning in to how it feels and then how it feels in my body. So things that aren't, say a situation that is not going to be true for me, it might feel really chaotic and really frantic and it might feel stressful and really rushed and it might feel just like not grounded, like I don't feel grounded in the decision or in the situation, like it just doesn't sit, like something just doesn't feel good. And then in my body that might manifest as like a tight chest, or I might kind of feel, like I'm running on adrenaline, or my head might get really tight, like I'm about to get a tension headache or something. Then the second, so I guess the other side of the coin is when something is going to be true for me. So when something is going to be true for me, I feel more relaxed about it. I feel it's going to feel more spacious, more expansive, and it's going to feel like I'm just aligning with something that's good. In my body, that feels like maybe I can breathe a little deeper and my forehead feels relaxed because I'm not frowning or I've not got a tension headache. Maybe my chest feels really relaxed. Like there's just something about it that kind of just feels like it's got ease in it. That is not to say though that there aren't butterflies in my stomach or those thoughts going around in my head saying I'm not good enough, not smart enough, how am I going to pull this off? Oh my God, I shouldn't be doing this. Those thoughts are still going to be there most of the time and I'm still going to have butterflies in my stomach. But it's like underneath that, there's an element of ease and there's an element of, this is what I got to do, or this is what's right. And another important point to remember is the thing that's right is not always going to be the thing that is going to be good on paper. Sometimes what looks really good on paper, what looks really good on your pros and cons list, and what's going to make the most sense to your loved ones is actually going to be the thing that is not true for you. Not always, but unfortunately sometimes the thing that's true for us is actually not the thing that looks right on paper. But the way that we know that it's right is because A, we've tuned into how it feels, and B, we are familiar with how it sits in our body. When we can identify those two things, that is how we find out what's true for us. So if we're trying to make a decision, if we're trying to figure what's right and what's not, you kind of got to take a few deep breaths. You just got to take a few deep breaths and ask yourself those two questions. How do I actually feel about this? Does it feel rushed and frantic and stressful, or does it feel like I've kind of come home to something? And then in your body, how does it feel? Do you have a tight chest? Do you have a tension headache? Or can you all of a sudden breathe a little bit deeper? Bearing in mind, that does not mean there won't be butterflies in your stomach or those thoughts running around in your head, because unfortunately none of us escape those things. And, then when we can just become really good at identifying those things, that's when we're not going to need the pros and cons list. That's when we're not going to need our friends' opinions or our family's opinions, or we're not going to need to write things out on paper, because how they look on paper is not always going to match how it feels in our bodies. And you know, when we make a decision that's right for us according to how it feels and how it sits in our bodies, that is always going to actually be the thing that leads us home to here. And when we can learn to back ourselves in that way, when we can really learn that this is how we make a decision, it's a lot easier to back yourself when you're telling people what you're going to do next, or a decision that you've made, or you're going to throw out the pros and cons list. It's a lot easier to let people know and to go against what looks good on paper when you've really mastered how to make a decision from here. So that's something that I'm experimenting with and really tuning into a lot more recently. And I think I've been making better decisions because of it, let me tell you. So it's working for me, so I just thought that I would share it with you. But I hope you're having a beautiful day or night wherever you are, and I will see you later. Bye.